What's going on, everybody? Ivan Estes here for UrbanSociety.life. And I'm with a wonderful guy that I just met today, but I want to say your performance was amazing earlier.
I appreciate that.
Man, you were in there rocking, and I was just trying to take as many photos as I can get of you.
Hey, much love.
And
I
so
appreciate that.
this is what I want you to do. I want you to tell the people who you are, just so our audience can get familiar with you.
For sure. I am Raspberry Sky. I go by the R&B Viking. Yeah, that's me. Raspberry Sky. They also call me Raz though. So.
Yeah. I was just gonna ask, like, what it, do you go by your full name, or do you have like any monikers or anything like that?
Usually Raz is what people call me.
Okay.
I think it's easier for people to like get out.
Yeah.
Raspberry, and a lot of people calling me Raspberry is a little bit weird. Wanye was like, I'm not gonna call you Raspberry. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, for sure. No, I get you on that. And so my sister here, obviously Simone, was telling me that you started performing when you were like 13.
Yeah.
And so I want to know, what are some of your influences, like when you were growing up in that?
For sure. My biggest influence musically, my biggest influence was Prince.
Okay.
At a young age, like 5-6 years old, was Prince. And then when I was in high school, Carl Thomas, Boys to Men, and Tank. Those were my three, and Prince. Those were my biggest influences. I used to get in debates and squabbles with my classmates because they would say, oh, Drew Hill's better, 112 is better. I'm like, no, but you don't understand. Carl Thomas is sensitive with it.
Yeah.
And I really took notice of Carl Thomas, how he would project his words, and Tank, how he would sing with resonance, and it just all really clicked for me as an artist, and really honed in on my own sound,
Well, speaking of that, then, so would you say that's kind of what your sound is based around? Is that kind of Tank?
100%. If you take Prince, Carl Thomas, Boys to Men, and Tank, and you put them all in like a vocal melodic stew, that's Raspberry Sky.
Okay.
Yeah,
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
And so, how long have you been performing professionally?
Performing professionally, realistically, only 2 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, performing only 2 years, all because of TikTok.
See,
All because of TikTok.
People that know me, they know I'm super. They are having a good time.
They're having a great time.
They know that I'm super big. I'm an advocate for social media, because I grew up in an era where you either had to go to school, or you had to go, and there was like an AR or some program director that would look at you and be like, get out of here. And that was your opportunities.
Yep,
and if they said they didn't like you, it was over for you.
Yep.
And so, I grew up in that era, but now coming up in this era, and I realized if anyone has a phone or some sort of technology or any idea about, hey, I can get out there and put myself out there, that's such a great way. It's an amazing tool for you to just, you don't need an A&R, you don't need someone to say,
don't need a label.
You don't need a label, right?
Yep.
You need yourself and your social media network, and you need to just keep working. And man, I gotta give you shakes on that, because I'm a big advocate of social media. Every time I see someone that's becoming successful and they tell me that, I'm like, see, I told you.
Yeah, exactly. Without social media, there would be no what has happened so far. You know what I mean? Like me going on these tours and everything, it wouldn't have been a possibility. You know what I mean? It's social media is where it's at.
Okay, so let me ask you this: which one is your favorite platform?
TikTok, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah. Instagram and Facebook is like a pay-to-play situation now. TikTok is free range, so I can go on TikTok and make a post about, we were out saving jellyfish in the oceans in Texas, right? Yeah, we were out in Texas, and we were just, saving. He was out there saving some jellyfish, and we were like, you wouldn't think anything of it, but I make a post. He makes a post about something. I'm just talking about jellyfish, but anything. And it can get crazy amount of views.
Right.
And you're like sitting there singing your heart out, and you might only get like 20 views on Instagram. It's just a different world. And TikTok is where it's at.
I like TikTok because of the algorithm. They always talk about this side of TikTok, or this side of TikTok, or that side of the talk. Like I remember people used to always be like, oh,
it's just for kids and dancing.
And I'm like, no, that's like real estate people that are doing hardcore real estate, and they have an algorithm full of tips and tricks about real estate. And for me, I just love the fact that you can get lost in any realm.
Yeah.
right? Like you could get lost in puppies or music.
For sure. They got
or
fishing.
jellyfish.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah,
for sure.
I love that. So let me ask you this: how's your tour going?
Tour's going great. You know, we've been it's been a crazy ride because I didn't know. I wasn't expecting hurricane season. I'm not from that side of, you know, the coast. I'm from the west side.
Yeah.
So, you know, seeing all the hurricane, and we had to like maneuver and get out of certain situations because of the hurricanes, you know, and it's just crazy what everyone's going through with the hurricanes. And it's just felt like one after another. And I'm like, does this happen on a regular? And like, people were like, yeah, this happens. We're always, you know, when you're from California, you don't get tornado warnings. You don't get hurricane warnings. You don't get any of that.
Right.
So it was just a wild thing. But the tour itself was a beautiful, you know, hanging out with a bunch of fans. Hey, everyone's partying. We in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
You know, so everyone's partying.
Say that. We're back in Las Vegas. We're here at the Classic Jewel.
Yeah.
I'm with my man right here who has been doing his thing on this tour. And tell the people what the name of the tour is.
So it's the Raspberry Tour. So my fans know. My fans know I call them my Raspberries because they're such a beautiful group of people. I look at it more like a community. I was raised up on the islands, and we always talked about spreading aloha, spreading love.
Okay.
And I feel like I've built a community of people that's like really not only listen to my music and love my music, but they also are a community of people that like really talk amongst each other. And that's the beautiful thing about community and ohana, as we say, family. Okay. Is it's a beautiful thing to have that. So definitely a beautiful. You know, my fans are the best fans because they go hard for me. They'll be like, I'll get a crazy post. I'll get someone saying some nonsense about me, and I say on my post, hey, Raspberries, go easy. You know, because they love and support what I do so much, and they see that it's genuine. It's not like, you know, I've been doing this for a long time, you know what I mean? And I'm getting a little bit older now, you know, losing a little bit more hair, but I'm still going to go out there and shine and grind and do my thing because it's very important to me. I don't know if, you know the whole history and backstory, but I lost my best friend and brother to gun violence. He was murdered in 1999.
I'm sorry to hear that,
So my son carries his name. Okay. So that's why I go as hard as I do. It's actually on the back of my bus. I talk about it. And so that's why I go as hard as I do, and I'll never lose sight of that because he doesn't have that opportunity. You know what I mean? So I'm going to do as much as I can to make sure that I shine with him.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that's interesting that you say that because when it comes to like motivation, I'm glad you said that, or some sort of, thing that gets you out of bed. I was just going to ask what gets you out of bed, but clearly that's what gets you out of bed is that 100%. Motivation to be able to say, hey, you know what? I had a best friend. He's not here. I want to go harder for him because he's obviously not here to be able to continue. So
exactly. And
then I wanted to step back. So your friend, where were you all at when you were growing up? I
was born in Germany.
Okay. See, and that's what I wanted. Okay, so that's what we're doing here. We're doing a circle. Yeah. So the R&B Viking. Yep. Grew up in Hawaii, but also in Sacramento.
Yeah. Well, I'm in Sacramento currently, but I was born in Germany. My dad was in the military, and then when I was about 10, we moved to the islands. Okay. Yeah.
I would say you have a very diverse background.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So tell us about that. How does that work for you in your music?
You know, I think when I was in Europe, because I was younger, I stayed inside. You know, I was like 5, 6, 7. But when I go to my friend's house, his dad is the reason why I do music. His dad, so the first memory of like really an explosion of like in my head of like, yo, this is what I want to do, is I was about 6 years old, and he was in the backyard pumping weights. And he came inside, and Prince, Erotic City, was playing. And I was like, who's that? Because at that time, I was listening to New Kids on the Block. Okay. You know, no shame in that. I mean, a little bit, but New Kids on the Block. So when I heard Prince, Erotic City, I was like, who's that? He's like, boy, you don't know nothing about no Prince. And then at that moment in time, I wanted to educate myself. Yeah, for sure. So I was listening to Prince, Boyz II Men, Al Green, Donny Hathaway, Stevie, you know, just a lot of the greats. And really honing in on that. And then being in Germany, you also have the classic like EDM and rave and all that stuff. Transition to Hawaii, now I'm listening to the island flavor of reggae, Hawaiian, and the Hawaiians and Samoans and Fijians, all of them have this beautiful tone that just like, I don't know, their lungs just feel like they dipped in caramel or something. They just ooze out this warmth. And I used to be hanging around with them by the cafeterias and like listening. We'd all harmonize together and be like, so that influence of the Boys to Men, and then like I said, you know, being in Hawaii, having the beautiful scenery. So nature is a big part of my thing too. Like in my music, I always got nature sounds. And,
I love that. That. Okay, so I want to ask you this: what artists are you currently vibing, or who are you currently vibing with right now?
So I'm a very eclectic. I try to listen to different stuff, but definitely probably my top 3 right now is probably Lucky Day.
Okay, yeah.
Lola Young, right, and she's an up and coming artist, and Jasmine Sullivan. So I love Jasmine Sullivan because of her vocal ability.
I was just gonna say like, that soul right there in the heart. Yeah.
She's the underdog of R&B females. You know, as far as like textures and stuff, I would say SZA is probably my, like, as far as textures. You know, she reminds me a lot of like the Frank Ocean of the female side of just how and her pen game is crazy. So yeah, I would say definitely that.
Okay. Yeah. And those are some amazing artists. You know, Jasmine Sullivan got a Grammy, so she definitely, I mean, I understand what you're saying by being, you know, by being, what you say, I was gonna say underground. You say underground, but you said underdog.
The underdog.
Yeah. She definitely is that. But when you win a Grammy, I mean, you're winning. You're winning to me.
Winning, yep.
All right. So, do you have any new albums in work? I know you're currently you're on tour for your current album. Do you have any? We'll talk about that in a minute. But do you have any albums that you're working on?
So the crazy part is something that I think I learned at a young age watching Prince. Is he has a vault mentality.
The vault.
Yeah, so I have so many records that it's hard to really put, like, saying the next album. I have about 130, because every night I make a new record when I go live. 130 unreleased songs, and I got this next album that's dropping November 15th.
Okay, and then let me ask you this: how do you? Because you just make a song, right? You go live, make a song, and so you get to this 130.
Yeah.
So, you know, a lot of times people, when they make an album, not every artist, but a lot of times when they make an album, they will have a specific sound in mind, and they will kind of use that and have that kind of be that pot where it's, okay, these 13 songs, I was on the top of a mountain. This is what I was thinking about.
So see, I'm so different when it comes out, because a lot of writers write that way, right? They'll maybe from life experiences and stuff like that. They'll be like, a thematic album.
Yes.
Right? So with me, I don't do that. I actually go in with a blank canvas of nothingness. And I just let whatever the universe, I just let it flow through me, whatever is meant to, I start visually piecing things together, and they see me do it on live, and then I don't have any idea of what direction it's going to go. I don't even know how the harmonies get, melodics, lyrics. I have nothing. It's just literally emptiness, and then I just come up with it, and I forget it after I did it. It's a crazy thing. You can ask. See, I'd be forgetting my lyrics half the time.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's just a crazy thing.
But you definitely you write it and you have it all together, but you never know how you're gonna like kind of cultivate it together as far as an album.
Yeah, never. Yeah.
How did you pick the songs for this particular album?
For this one, I knew specifically just because of the formulas that I was doing for this specific album.
Okay.
And I knew I was going on tour, so I was like, okay, let me give people, because normally I'm doing like an 80s synthwave R&B. But this record was more the classic R&B sound. So I wanted to give my Raspberries that, because they were like, we want the 90s R&B to come back. We need the 90s R&B to come back. So I wanted to give them something just to freshen things up.
Oh, for
you
sure.
know what I mean?
And you were saying that when you were performing, that you were like, hey, this is specifically for the people that love the 90s R&B.
Yes.
That's me, by the way.
Yeah, 90s R&B.
90s R&B for sure.
Yeah.
All right, so since we talk about 90s R&B, I'll just throw mine out there. Jodeci, Babyface.
Mm-hmm.
He could be 80s too, but and then these are just quick.
Yeah.
I'll do 2. Okay, so you tell me 2 off the top of the dome. Just boom. 90s R&B.
90s R&B would definitely be Carl Thomas and Tank.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Well, see, there. You know what's funny about that is because they, well, at least Tank has been around for a while, and he has cultivated a sound that wouldn't necessarily be just 90s, right? Like when I think, and this is just me categorizing it, when I think of someone that's 90s, I mean someone that was kind of in that era, and then they don't necessarily have a sound outside of that era. Tank is doing his thing right now, right? Like I would ask someone that was just that era. I know, and not to disrespect Tank, because like I said, Tank is amazing and he definitely killed it then.
Yeah.
But someone that was just specific to.
So I would probably say then, if it was 90s R&B, specific to that sound, I'd probably have to say Carl Thomas.
Yeah. See, that I could rock with that.
Yeah, because Carl Thomas to me, and that's my guy. So people know, like the people know. Carl Thomas, the reason why, when I look at artists, I see them in different, almost like there's the nature, like air, earth, fire, wind, right? The elements, right? And something that always gravitated me, like he was always air. Like he would always, like when he would sing, he would hold out the notes to make sure that you listen to the lyric of what he was saying. And that stuck out at me because, Tank is actually mumble, it's a little bit more muffled, but he would really enunciate his words.
Yes, I got
and
you.
I was like, wow, that's because then you're feeling like what he's saying, so it felt a lot more sensitive, and the emotion was captivated, and they were also fighting for the spotlight.
Oh, for sure.
And they were fighting amongst the R&B heavyweights groups, and the 112s, the Drew Hills, the Jagged Edges, so it was hard to be a solo R&B act and try to punch through.
Oh,
so
sure.
I've always rooted for the underdogs, and now Tank is at the top.
Oh, that's what I'm saying.
Which is a beautiful thing, because it's taken him a long time to get there, but everyone needs to give him his flowers because he's worked so hard.
Oh, for sure.
For what he's done.
R&B money is all
R&B money.
day,
Yeah,
all
exactly.
day.
Yep.
Yeah, that's and I could talk about this all day because I absolutely love 90s R&B.
Yeah.
I love your choice. I actually grew up in I'm from Joliet, Illinois, so I grew up in all that area.
Carl Thomas,
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
You already know.
Yeah.
So. Have you ever been in that area?
No, I've not. No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I plan to.
Yeah, you got to get out there. Joliet, Chicago,
Yeah.
Plainfield, Naperville, all those different places. Yeah. Shout out to back home.
Yeah.
So okay, I want to ask you this. We're talking about motivation.
Yeah.
So when I get out of bed, right, I'm motivated by certain things. There's also other things that motivate me, and obviously, you have to have discipline because you're not always going to be motivated. We know that, but there's 3 things that kind of click like an aha moment, and I'm like, oh, I need to get in the lab. I need to create. I need to let me stop. One of them is when I hear a new song, right, and I'm like, oh, they are putting it down, and that makes me as a photographer or a creator, I want to get in the lab and start creating. I'm like, I need to be in my mix. I need to be in my zone. I don't need to be playing around. What are some things that kind of snapped for you? Like, let's say you were just having a burger or something, and then that thing happens, and you're like, oh shoot, let's go to the studio right now, or let's create right now.
That's the thing about me. I'm sort of spontaneous in the moment. So I go into the studio every day, and I think it's because I've defined my purpose at a young age.
Okay.
So like at a young age, I was like, this is what I want to do. Music is what I want to do. I know exactly, where I want to go and where I want to be. But I would also say that time is a huge influence in my brain. When I wake up, I spring out of bed like a crazy chicken in the morning. I spring up out of bed. I'm like, yeah, let's go. I'm breathing.
Yeah.
I think a lot of that is because because I lost my best friend. You know what I mean? So it's just like, because of that, I'm like, seize the day, seize the opportunity. There's moments in time, you know, every single time when you wake up, it's like we have to be thankful and grateful for everything that we got. Just waking up.
Yeah, for sure.
And so you have that time, and then just the simple fact of conception and creation itself. We're like 1 in a billion. You know what I mean? Traveling. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure. I understand.
We are that one that made it through. So we got one life to make it right, and this can't be all for nothing. You know what I mean? So it's just the way I look at it is like, yo, we had I don't know the statistics, you know what I mean, but I'm saying 1 in a billion chance to be conceptualized.
Yeah, absolutely.
The fact that we get conceptualized, and we're sitting here and we can breathe, and we can smell flowers, and we can watch bees make honey, and we can watch creation. That's wild to me. So in my brain, I'm like, yo, create the world, the universe is a creative place. So it's like, yeah, we got to make stuff happen. It's like, yeah, today's the day. So because I know at night, if I lay my head down, I don't wake up, guess what I seized that day. I made that day count every day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the way I live life every day. No matter if you're having bad stuff happen, good stuff happen, the universe, I always say, good, bad, and indifferent, stuff happens.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's how we process the day and how we live the day that determines how we live the universe. You know what I mean?
No, I understand that, and that's great.
Yeah.
So do you have any goals outside of music, or are you kind of just locked in and just focused?
I'm locked in and focused on the music. My goal is to be a good father.
Okay.
You know, and raise my son to know nothing but love. You know, raise him to go for his dreams, pursue his passions, love hard, do your best, and be the best type of person you can be.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then, speaking of family and personal life, you know, we're gonna ask, the people want to know. Most R&B crooners, you know, they want to know. So, are you seeing anybody? You have a dating or anything like that?
I'm married to this music.
Ah, there you go.
Yeah, I'm married to the music in the universe. You know what I mean? And I got a bunch of babies somewhere out there, from what these comments be saying. And the TikTok world.
is like, yeah, come here.
Yeah, I got all these child support payments. Yeah, you got these child support payments lining up in my P.O. box.
But I don't know officially. I've just heard the rumors.
Yeah.
Okay, and then I don't want to take up too much more your time,
No,
but you know, I'm out in San Diego. When's the next time you're coming to San Diego?
You know, I haven't been out to San Diego, but I'm planning to do a West Coast tour with San Diego being the first stop.
Okay.
So we're going to go San Diego all the way up to Washington.
We need, you got to tap in with us for sure.
Yeah,
Urban
sure.
Society. Yeah. And just me personally, you got, like, when you come to Dago,
sure.
you got to come through, because I'm sure show you love.
Hey, much love.
And get you the best taco shop, because you know that's how we get down to San Diego.
I love tacos. Birria tacos specifically.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. I'll ask you one more question. Where can the people find you?
The best thing you could do to find me, because we don't know how long because of TikTok, they say, you know, we don't know. The best thing you can do is just Google me. There's Raspberry Sky. You can find my socials. You can go to raspberryskymusic.com. I got my own app. Actually, I got my own app on the Apple Store and the Google Play Store. It's called the Raspberry app.
Okay.
So you can go on there and you can see everything that's happening with my life and my world and, you know, my music. I got like 80 songs on there right now. So, yeah.
Well, shoot, man, I appreciate you taking this time.
For
Your show is amazing.
I appreciate
thank
that.
my sister Simone for inviting me out.
Thank you, Simone.
I appreciate you. Thank you.
For sure.
Till the next time, UrbanSociety.life. Check us out. All right.